You're standing in line. Your phone is at 1%. There is nothing to look at, nothing to read, nothing to hold. Within 11 seconds, something in your chest starts to itch. You feel it before you name it. It feels small. It feels harmless. It is not. In 2014, a psychologist named Timothy Wilson ran an experiment that sounds almost too strange to be real. He put people alone in an empty room for 15 minutes. No phone, no book, nothing to do but sit with their own thoughts. Most people hated it. That part isn't surprising. What happened next is, Wilson gave the same participants the option to press a button and give themselves a mild electric shock just to have something to feel. Nearly half of them pressed it. One man shocked himself 190 times. He had said, before the experiment even started, that he would pay money to avoid being shocked again. Given 15 minutes alone with his own mind, he chose pain over nothing. Why would a brain do that? For most of human history, boredom did not look like a waiting room or a slow afternoon. It looked like danger. Your ancestors did not experience boredom as an empty, comfortable pause. They experienced it as a warning. Nothing happening meant something was wrong. A predator might be near. Food might be running out. A threat might be forming just outside the edge of what they could see. Boredom was not the absence of stimulation. It was the presence of unresolved risk, sitting quietly, waiting to be noticed. That's the reframe. Boredom isn't your brain having nothing to do. It's your brain screaming that you're not doing the one thing it evolved to make sure you always do. Pay attention to your environment for change. A researcher named John Eastwood, who has spent years studying this exact feeling, describes boredom as the uncomfortable experience of wanting to be engaged in something and being unable to. Not the lack of things to do, the failure to connect with any of them. Think about the last time you were bored during a task you actually cared about. It's rare, isn't it? Boredom shows up hardest when your mind is unengaged but still alert, like an engine idling with nowhere to go. Here's where it gets stranger. Boredom isn't a modern glitch. It shows up in toddlers. It shows up in elderly people in nursing homes. It shows up in slightly different forms in some animals kept in captivity, pacing the same 6 feet of enclosure over and over. Across every version of it, the same pattern appears. An organism built to scan for change, denied any change to scan for. Now picture a small hunting and gathering group 40,000 years ago. A long stretch with no threats, no food to track, no signals worth noticing, was not actually safe. It was suspicious. Evolution does not reward creatures that relax the moment things go quiet. It rewards creatures that get restless. Restlessness moves you. It pushes you to check the tree line again, to walk a little further, to look up. The itch you feel in a waiting room is the same itch that once sent a person out past the edge of camp to see what they might have missed, which raises an uncomfortable question. If boredom is a warning signal, what happens when you numb it instead of listening to it? A researcher named Erin Westgate has studied this from a different angle. Her work suggests boredom is actually a signal about meaning, not just stimulation. You don't get bored because a task lacks excitement. You get bored because a task fails to feel meaningful while also failing to hold your attention. Scrolling through your phone can feel busy and still leave you bored, because busy and meaningful are not the same thing. You can be stimulated for hours and still feel that same low hum of unresolved unease by the end of the night. This is the part that should sit with you for a second. Modern life is not short on stimulation. It is short on the kind of engagement your ancestors' boredom evolved to demand. Their boredom pushed them toward real change. New terrain, new information, new solutions to real problems. Your boredom today is answered almost instantly by something that looks like change, but isn't. A new video, a new tab, a new notification. The itch gets scratched, but the underlying signal, the one asking for meaning, never actually gets resolved. So it comes back in 20 minutes, then 10, then 5. Some researchers now believe this mismatch is part of why boredom feels worse than it used to, not better, despite having infinitely more to look at than any human in history. You would think a species with unlimited entertainment in its pocket would have solved boredom completely. Instead, surveys on modern attention suggest people report feeling bored more often, not less. Somewhere in there is a clue. Your ancestors' boredom had an exit built in. It was uncomfortable specifically so they would act, and the action available to them, moving, exploring, solving, actually addressed the discomfort. Your boredom often has an exit that only looks like one. It doesn't ask you to act, it asks you to consume. And consuming rarely resolves the thing that made you restless in the first place. So, what was that man in Timothy Wilson's study actually doing when he shocked himself 190 times? He wasn't being reckless. He was doing something remarkably old. He was answering an ancient signal the only way his environment allowed. No predator to check for, no terrain to explore, no task pulling at his attention. Just a button. So the oldest instinct in the room, the one built to make discomfort into motion, reached for the only motion it could find. That reframes the itch you feel with 1% battery left and nothing to look at. It is not proof that you are broken or lazy or addicted to your phone in some uniquely modern, uniquely shameful way. It is a 40,000-year-old alarm going off in a room it was never designed for. The alarm still works exactly as intended. It's just that almost nothing around you gives it a real place to point. Here's the twist most people miss. Boredom, left alone instead of numbed, tends to produce something useful. Several studies on boredom and creativity have found that people given a boring task right before a creative one often perform better on the creative task afterward, not worse. Their minds, denied an easy external distraction, start generating their own material. Daydreaming increases. Unexpected connections start to form. The discomfort, it turns out, is doing something. It's pushing your attention somewhere it wouldn't have gone if it had been handed an easy escape. Which means the itch you feel in line, at your desk, in the quiet 10 minutes before you fall asleep, might not be a malfunction to eliminate. It might be the last surviving piece of a very old system, trying to do exactly the job it was built for. Get you to notice something, explore something, solve something, before the reach for your phone answers it with nothing at all. Tonight, when you feel that first flicker of boredom, in line, in bed, in the space between two tasks, notice it before you reach for anything. That flicker is not new. It is not weakness, and it is not a flaw in your attention span. It is the same signal that once sent a person past the edge of camp to see what they had missed, still running, still asking the same question it always has. The only thing that's changed is what you do the moment it goes off.